Hey friends, welcome to today's Pick a Card Tarot reading. So today we are going to be doing messages that you need to hear right now. So these are all going to be messages that need to find you in the moment that you're watching this. This is a timeless reading. You can be watching this at any time of the year and it will be 100% applicable for you and your life in this particular situation. So without further ado, let's get right into these readings. So I have 4 piles for you to choose from today. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Once again, that's pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Down below in the description section of this video, you will find a link to your part of the reading. So without further ado, one more time, we have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. I will let you find your reading now. Hey there, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the reading with this straw star from Sweden. They are Christmas ornaments, but as you can see from the timestamp, I'm filming this right around Christmas season, but that does not mean this is a Christmas reading. So this is a reading that is applicable for any time of the year. So welcome in. Let's check it out. So I've got a bunch of different cards for you to choose from today. Lots of different decks.
The card is empty. To add items, you can say things like, add batteries to my cart, or add dog food to my cart.
So we've got lots of things for you to choose from that we are choosing from. So let us jump right into this here. These are messages that you need to know right now. First up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot reading. First card is the 6 of Swords. Cool. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, and we've got the 8 of Swords. Okay, wow, okay, this is pretty straightforward here. I really like this. As you can see, I tend not to read reversals in in my general readings, just to keep it more open to the symbolism that we have in front of us. So this is a pretty straightforward situation that you've got going on here. I think that you've been in a situation for a while here, probably. We'll start with this one, where, you know, things have been kind of challenging. The 8 of Swords is all about this kind of, it's feeling stuck, right? It's feeling like you're in a stuck situation and you don't know how to move forward. The thing about it in most decks is it tends to be drawn as a woman who is blindfolded and tied to one of the swords. So she's like bound and tied to this sword here. The thing about it, and this particular drawing here kind of highlights this idea, is it's like she might be stuck, but she's actually kind of stuck on her own accord. And in fact, she can get out of the situation anytime she wants. It's like normally she's depicted as very loosely bound. So it's like she can break out of those bounds in any manner that she wants to. And so she's the one who's kind of within her own mind, she's keeping herself in that position. This sword suit is all about the mind, and you have 2 swords here. So, you know, you've got this mind idea going on here. And so it's like, you know, you feel stuck in this situation. You feel stuck in this dark kind of place here. You see this pile of dark swords at the bottom of this 6 of Swords suit, you know? So I feel like mentally you've been in a position where, you know, you've been feeling really stuck. You've been feeling kind of in this coerced, like, oh, you know, nothing's really going right. Maybe you feel depressed. Maybe you're actually going through depression or something like that. The thing about that stuck energy, right? Like I said, you can get out of it anytime. And in fact, with this rainbow here at the top, it's really kind of showing you that you're moving out of it, that you have the power and the tools at your disposal to move out of it. And with it being this chrysalis here, what it's showing us is that there's actually a higher dimension towards this quote unquote darkness, you know, like sometimes the difficult things that happen in our lives, right? Like, it's important to remember that, first of all, difficult things that happen to us, you know, they're not necessarily ever easy, and they're not you know, necessarily something that we need to be in a position of like telling ourselves, oh, well, you know, we should have done it this way, or it's like, you know, it's very easy for us to get lost in some of the darker situations that we find ourselves in. And you know, it's important to remember that in hindsight, after they're long gone, sometimes we can start to look at difficult situations from our past from a new perspective, right? And that in fact, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like 10 years down the line, we can look back at this really challenging situation and be like, hey, you know what? Like, I know that was a horrible thing that happened to me, but it almost kind of had to happen because then X, Y, and Z happened afterward that really turned everything around. And so it was like, I went through that challenging thing, but at the end of the day, it put me in the position to move into a whole new phase of my life that ended up being way, way, way more beneficial for me than I could have ever imagined, you know? I'm getting that kind of feeling from this, especially because the final card that we have in this sequence is the Nine of Pentacles, which talks about being in ultimate abundance. You know, this glamorous, beautiful, earthly abundant period. It's normally depicted as a woman who's standing in her own private garden, kind of basking in the finer things of life. But the thing about it is that she's all alone, right? She's kind of put herself into being alone because she's prioritized her own happiness finally. And so she's actually okay being on her own now because she knows that by choosing to be on her own, she's choosing herself. And by choosing herself, she's able to bring into her life the things she really wants for herself. And so I feel like the key to getting out of this stuck period and the key to getting away from this really darker energy is to really take a look. And you're being encouraged with these cards to take a look at who is in your life, what situation is in your life, what location are you in right now that is not serving you well. And I know that this is a timeless reading, but when I'm putting this up, we are about to go through some really interesting astrological periods. Now, like I said, if you're finding this much later than when I posted it, you can not necessarily pay attention to this. But if you are watching it when I'm posting it, we're about to enter Saturn is about to move back into Aquarius after being in Capricorn for a retrograde period since July. And at the same time, we're moving into a deeply powerful solstice. We're about to have this incredibly powerful new moon, giving you new opportunities to bring things into your life. And so because of all of those factors, now, like I said, you can be watching this way after and that won't apply, but because of all of that, it really does feel like this is a perfect opportunity for you to really, 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 really take stock in your life. And in fact, the universe may have been putting you into this position where you can't not take a look at this anymore. It's like you have to look at all of this stuff now. But you may be in the perfect position now to really, really, really take into account, you know, what is best for you in this life? What is going to bring you happiness? What's going to set you up for positive outcomes in any situation that you're a part of, even if it includes people that you really care about? You know, sometimes you have to put a little bit of distance between you and a situation, you know, that might involve other people in order to prioritize, you know, thriving for yourself. And that's okay, you know, as long as you're doing it with love and you're not trying to hurt anyone, you know, like really hurt anyone. Prioritizing your own happiness is really important because at the end of the day, like, you're the only one who can do that for yourself, right? You're the only one who has the ability to move your own life in the direction that's going to be the most beneficial for you. Other people can't do that for you. You have to be the one to take those factors into account because you are living your own personal life. So I really feel like this reading is kind of giving you that notion here. Let's keep looking at some cards to try to get a better idea of your situation here. Next up, we have a few cards, 3 cards from the Universal Waite deck. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. That's great. We've got the 8 of Wands. And we've got the Ace of Cups. Okay, so this new beginning that I'm talking about here, like, that's coming on now, right? Like, this is coming in for you at this moment. So this kind of stuck energy, right? You're moving out of this. You're moving into this rainbow already. You've already set up the situation and the factors for yourself to bring in this Nine of Pentacles energy. And because of that, you're on a new start here. You've got a brand new beginning that's coming in for you in the emotional sphere, you know, your emotional body, reconnecting to your heart space and your heart center, really awakening in your own, you know, inner guidance, your own inner light. You're reawakening to that now. You're about to start this new journey where you are, like I was saying, putting your own happiness first. You are saying, okay, if I'm going to keep living this life, right, how do I get out of being so depressed all the time? How do I get out of this energy that's just putting me down? And how can I actually be happy? What does happiness look like for me? How can I open up my heart to this bright, beautiful new day? And by doing that, by choosing those things for yourself, you're putting yourself into this beautiful new period of good fortune, right? With the Wheel of Fortune coming in, it's like you're opening yourself up to this beautiful new fortunate time where, you know, things can work out for yourself. I'm being drawn to the snake imagery here, you know, so it's like snakes are always about like this kind of Kundalini awakening, you know, which just means reconnecting to your own spiritual center, you know, really waking up to your own higher self and connecting to that, and being really in line and in tune with who you are, what you need for you, and being so comfortable with that, being so awakened to that, and loving yourself for those things, you know, being totally and completely your own best friend, you know, being totally and completely your own, you know, your own inner light, inner guidance. And that's going to bring you a lot of fortune in this life moving forward, because you're going to be prioritizing your own happiness. And this new period is coming in very quickly with the Eight of Wands here. The Eight of Wands is all about fast moving, swift motion. So this is all happening and occurring for you in a very, very quick paced manner, which is incredibly exciting. So I just feel that deeply exciting energy here coming in. We've got one card from the one JJ Swiss deck, and it's the Three of Cups. Okay, so what this is doing too, like I said, you know, by putting yourself first here, you're actually realigning the people that you are going to be around. So it's not totally lonely, like I was kind of saying, like you're not totally alone here. What you're doing is you're kind of making a space from all of this, like, you know, letting go of some people that are really just causing you pain and strife and drama that you don't need, you know, letting go of all of that and connecting into your own heart space, your own heart center, your own inner light, inner guidance, inner sense of being. By doing that, by making that choice, by moving in that direction, you open yourself up to meeting the right people for you. You've got the right people now coming into your life with this Three of Cups here. The Three of Cups is all about celebrating with friends. So it's like you've got new friendship coming in too. You've got a new sense of happiness with other people, because you know how to prioritize your own health, your own happiness, your own sense of well-being. Because of that, you align yourself to the people who are on the same page as you. So you connect with those people who are in exactly the same place as you, and you open yourself up to being with and around those people who can really help you bring in this next phase of your life. So like I feel that energy coming in here. It's like it's not totally closing yourself off from people. You're just realizing that certain relationships aren't doing it for you anymore. And so you're prioritizing the people who really connect with you, and you allow yourself to filter your relationships from that place where you're like, okay, well, who's going to be the one, you know, and you don't have to do this necessarily consciously, but it's like you're going to be less likely to attract people who are continuing this drama energy because you've decided to end it within yourself. And by making the choice to end it on the inside, remember, our inner and outer landscapes always reflect one another. What that means is that, you know, your inner world, your inner dialogue, your inner situation, that's what you have control over the most in life, because it's your mind and you can calm it. You can move your thoughts in a new pattern. By doing that, you actually allow yourself to change the outer world that surrounds you too, because it's like by changing your perspective, you change what you even expect to find in the world. And so the world will start presenting you these new ideas, these new thoughts, these new abilities, and then you'll start seeing physically new things that are able to come into your life. You'll be able to see opportunities that you never saw before, and you'll be able to see red flags in people you never saw before, because you're not going to put up with that behavior anymore. You're not going to put up with that difficulty, those hardships. You've been there, you've done that, and so you're going to be like more. I just feel like you're trusting your own intuition more in this. We don't have any super intuitive cards, but I kind of feel that, it's like really trusting yourself. You're really trusting your own sense of being to really open you up to who you are, what you need, and, seeing people for who they are right away, and being like, okay, you know what, I know this person, and it doesn't mean totally prejudging somebody, you know what I mean? But it's just like you start seeing people's actions more. People will reveal themselves to you quicker. People always reveal who they are relatively quickly into a relationship. And so it's like you're going to be trusting that knowledge that's within you even more to kind of bring you into this new period here. We've got, I'm going to put that next, final tarot cards before we get into the oracle stuff. I've got 3 cards now from my own hand-drawn deck. We've got the 5 of Swords, we've got the King of Swords, so much swords energy in this reading, and the Queen of Swords. Wow, that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. So, with it being so swords based here, it's really about your mind, your mental body, and this new start that you're taking is really connected to your heart and your emotions, your emotional body. So it's almost like, I don't know if maybe you're somebody who has had anxiety in the past, or if you have it now, especially with kind of these darker imageries here. I just get this feeling of anxiety kind of coming through now. You're going to be letting go of that now. It's like you're reconnecting to your heart space. You're remembering the importance of your own heart. And that what that does is that allows you to take a little bit less stock and less importance from the mind, because I think it's really important to remember, this is some lessons I've learned for myself. The mind, it's not that it lies, it's just that it's not always right, right? It's like our mind tends to think it's always right, but our thoughts can go down all of these different paths and all of these different things. And, when you get caught in a thought loop, it can be really difficult to realize that that's what's going on, especially if you're somebody, I'm somebody who's had a lot of anxiety in my life, and, it's really easy, really, really, really easy to just like get taken for a loop when it comes to anxious feelings. Where you're just like, you're not, before you even realize that you're down this like thought train that's putting you in a really dark, really difficult, hard place. And then all of a sudden your heart's racing and your mind's going and all of that, What's important to remember, some things that have really helped me out in that kind of situation, is to remember that you personally are not your thoughts, right? We identify with our thoughts a lot. And I think especially in Western discourse and Western culture, it's very easy to do that. We identify with our minds. And at the end of the day, though, you are not the thoughts that are going through your head. You are the awareness of the thoughts that are in your head, right? You are the being, the entity that is watching those thoughts. You are not those thoughts themselves. So what that means is that, I feel like meditation is something that can really deeply, deeply help you through this process that you're going through, and just in life in general, especially with all of this swords energy that's coming up here. I think that meditation is something that can do you really, really well. So what happens when you meditate is you're actively quieting the mind. And it doesn't mean that you don't have thoughts anymore. It's really, really difficult to just cold turkey not think. And in fact, I don't know if anybody can really do that. I think that some people who meditate all the time would argue that you can. I meditate a lot. I don't meditate always, so I'm not exactly the hugest expert on it, but it has helped me tremendously through my anxiety. And the biggest thing about it is that you could do it for as much as you want, just starting at like a quick couple minutes, even just a couple seconds of just calming yourself can do a lot. But for these more longer periods of meditation, right now I'm doing like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but you don't have to do that long. If you just start with 10 minutes, where you set a timer for 10 minutes and you just start breathing and watching your breath, that is very helpful. What I do is I'll breathe in through the nose and then breathe out. And I'll close my eyes. I tend to light a candle. I set the timer, I turn down all the lights, and then I just, I watch my breathing. And there's different mantras you can use, different things you can do. The easiest thing that I do is just breathing in, breathing out. And I'm watching my breath. I'm paying attention to it. In my mind, I might even be saying breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And then inevitably, what happens when you start doing that is your mind will start to go onto a thought loop. It'll happen without you even realizing it. Your mind will start going down a direction. As soon as you start thinking about something, it doesn't, don't be hard on yourself for doing that. Literally everyone does that. That's what the mind does. Remember, you're not identifying with those thoughts anymore. You're identifying as the awareness of those thoughts. So it's all about learning how to be that awareness and not necessarily embody those thoughts themselves. So as soon as you start to do that, what you do is, as soon as you notice the thoughts happening, just say very simply, oh, thinking, what I'll do is, oh, thinking. Well, go back to it, you know what I mean? Oh, and, I'll say it in my head, oh, thinking, and then I'll pay attention to my breath again, and I'll let the thoughts go. And then, the more that you start to do that kind of thing, that's how you develop a really healthy meditation practice, the more that you'll get back in tune with it. And I've listened to some people, who, you can do a different kind of mantra, and every kind of different group of people has a different way of meditating. I think a lot of mine comes from Eastern philosophy based stuff, and the Zen Buddhist practitioners will do it in one way, and you got a lot of different philosophies on it. The point is, find the thing that'll work best for you here. And I really feel, I didn't mean to go super far on a tangent about all that stuff, but I just feel like that's going to be really helpful for you, is developing a super healthy meditation practice, because what you're doing is you are placing less importance in the thoughts themselves and bringing yourself back into the body, grounding yourself, connecting back into the heart center. If you want to do some guided meditations too, there's really great ones. Look up some heart-centered meditations on YouTube, and really connecting back into the heart. It's like bringing yourself out of the mind, back into the body, back into the present moment. That'll help you start alleviating some of this, this anxiety energy. And you'll come back into this King, Queen of Swords energy. They are totally masters of the mind. It's becoming a master with your mind, of your mind, in your body. What that entails, right? Sometimes both of these cards are accused of being cold, unfeeling. It's not at all. They are very feeling people. They're deeply in tune with their emotions. What they do, though, is they feel their emotions on their own time, in their own space, and they don't allow their emotions to control their actions. And so I feel like maybe that's a little bit of what you're doing too here, is learning how to do that kind of emotional balancing, where the King and the Queen of Swords, what they do is they feel their emotions deeply, very, very deeply. It's so important to always feel your feelings. Don't bottle them up. Don't try to let them go. Don't try to ignore them or say, oh, that doesn't matter. I'm not even going to think about that. La, 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 la. Block my ears, Just trust me, as someone who for years and years bottled up all of their emotions, that stuff, if you feel depressed, if you feel like you're depressed, chances are that might be something that you've been doing. Depression can come in very easily from not expressing quote unquote negative emotions, where these emotions, we label them as negative, we label them as bad, but that doesn't mean that they actually are. They're just emotions, right? Like, we don't have to put any kind of moral judgment on them. They're just emotions. But somewhere along the line, you learn to see, and this is just something that I've done myself, so we've learned to see these particular emotions as not good. And so we say, nope, I'm having a not good emotion. I'm not even going to have that. Let me just bury it. Nope. I'm not going to see it. Not going to look at it. And by doing that, you push it deep inside you. You block the heart center. You block that heart space. And then you don't even know what's wrong. You just feel awful. You don't know where that feeling's coming from. You start to identify it, right? Where our thoughts identify with themselves. We go back into that. So you just feel gross, and then you say, oh, I'm horrible because I feel so bad. There must be something wrong with me for feeling so bad. And then, you get into this shame spiral where you don't even know why, but you hate yourself. You hate what's going on. You hate your life. You hate all this stuff. You don't know why. You're not even thinking about why anymore. And so in order to clear all of those energy, right? That's a blocking of the heart chakra, which I feel like is exactly what I'm describing here. A blocking of the heart chakra, which, like I said, for years, my heart chakra was totally blocked because I had built up all of these emotions. There were things from high school I hadn't dealt with. You know what I mean? There were things, it's like for the last decade, I've been holding on to these things. Every time something horrible happens to me, instead of processing that emotion, I just add it back into the heart space. Nope, blocking that. Nope. And then all of a sudden, I can't get out of bed. I feel terrible about myself. I'm disassociating from my own identity. It was bad. It was horrible. I mean, and that was not that long ago for me now. That was like 3 years ago. Starting in 2017 was the worst of it. 2017 through 2019. And then I had this dark night of the soul period that, was just horrible. Which a dark night of the soul is just like this, like, it's like the worst part of your life kind of a thing where like nothing is working, everything feels horrible, but it's like supposed to be that it's just this idea that sometimes those kinds of internal strife and suffering can be a catalyst towards spiritual growth and change, which you don't necessarily have those cards in here, but I feel a little bit of that energy coming through. The thing about that kind of thing is that, like, it's because you're in that kind of blocked mentality, and it's a very quick thing once you start to be in this healing spot. And I don't necessarily think, maybe you've already gone through a lot of this, maybe you're already on the other side of this, or who knows exactly, but I just feel deeply compelled to share all of this, so I'm sure it's important for some of you out there. The thing about going through that kind of a thing, right, is that once you decide, I'm going to unblock my heart center, and especially with the meditation, the thing about meditating, the thoughts that start to pop up in your head, they're probably going to be really hard at first if you've been blocking thinking about certain things. But it's a double-edged sword. It's a blessing as much as it's a curse, because once you decide within yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to face all of it. If you say, okay, I'm going to face it. What is it? I'm going to face it head on. It's going to be really scary at first, but when you develop, if you develop a practice of it, of just saying whatever comes up, I'm going to face. It takes a lot of courage. It takes an incredible amount of courage. But if you can do it, it's also how healing happens, because you'll start to see that the more that you face this stuff, first of all, the better you're going to feel, because this stuff that's buried, it's just buried in there because it hasn't been faced. But once you face it, then you release it and you let it go. And then you open yourself up to being able to be happy again. It really does work. It's just, you got to face it. You just got to face it head on. But as soon as you start doing that, then what you're doing is you're clearing out your energy centers. You're clearing out your body. You're clearing everything out. And then when you do that, the more and more you practice that, the lighter you're going to feel, the more energetic you're going to feel, the more connected to your own happiness you're going to feel. You're going to start reconnecting to parts of yourself you thought were gone forever, that they come back to you, because you are always going to be you, and as much as change is the inevitable part of reality, as long as you're kind of rolling with the punches and flowing along with life, you'll start to see that, aspects of your life that were around at a different period that maybe you thought were gone, they're not gone at all. They were just blocked, you know what I mean? And then they come back to you. So yeah, so let's do the oracle cards here. I feel like I'm rambling, but I think that this is important information I'm giving you. So we've got the ring here, which kind of it's that cycle that I was just talking about. The rings to me tend to be, you know, they're symbols of infinity sometimes. They're cycles, you know, that we spiral out on these cycles, and life is all about cycles. We tend to think of life in this very linear fashion, but it's not. It's actually a spiral, and sometimes we end up exactly where we started from, but we end up, you know, it's not like we have to start fully over, because we end up in that position with all of the knowledge that we've gained from going through all this other stuff. So it's like, as long as you're open to that kind of a thing, you're open to learning, you're open to all of this information that's possible for you, you know, you open yourself up to this beautiful infinite cycle and process of learning and growing and finding new things, and, you know, being even more of you, you know. For oracle cards, I'm going to read from the book for these. We got grounding, which totally makes sense. I had that whole rant about meditation and grounding and coming back into your body, and so here's a card that talks directly about that, which is wonderful. So let me read from this book about that. This comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, one of my favorites, for just some like super killer advice. I feel like I used this deck alone in totally transforming my life. So I really recommend it. So grounding. As humans, our bodies are of the earth. It is a natural inclination when we experience uncomfortable emotions or energy to ground it out, much the way a ground wire works with electrical current. However, with so much in our modern lives that causes us to be disconnected from source, we tend to gravitate towards false grounding. Overeating, smoking, drinking, and recreational drugs are common ways some try to ground. These items are of the earth, but they are not the earth. This is not true grounding, and as such, it cannot sustain. It doesn't last. What ends up happening is that, as with most experiences that are false, we need more and more to achieve the same result. To truly ground and to connect to both the earth and creator, practice consciously connecting your energy to the earth. You should not be getting your energy outside of yourself, but directly from the divine. This is achieved through meditation, energy work, and mindfulness. Find a way that works for you and practice it. By drawing this card, you are being asked to look at the areas of your life where you are employing false grounding as a coping mechanism. Okay, so yeah, I think that just kind of reiterates a lot of what I talked about before, you know, and like, yeah, that burying energy, that's also, if you have any addictive tendencies, if you've had any in the past, where that all comes from is it's addictions. Well, I feel like there's two different kinds. You could have a chemical dependence on something, but that means at that point, a chemical dependence is like you physically need it because it's a chemical imbalance within you. But a lot of times, even from the beginning, those chemical addictions come from these other kinds of addictions, which are all about not wanting to face certain things within you. And you don't want to face that, so you look for something to ignore it. You know, these false groundings is what it's called in this deck. And so, you know, you can actually ground out your energy a lot easier by working on connecting to the earth and connecting your body into the present moment. I also have a grounding meditation on my channel, so you can look that up as well, but there are plenty of guided meditations on YouTube too that have some grounding meditations to really learn what that means and how to do that. Next up, we have two cards from the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck. First up is Ideas and Inspiration. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, so as you move into this new period, really follow the ideas and inspirations that are coming to you. Pay attention to new thoughts and ideas that come to you. They are the seeds of magnificent co-creation with the universe. The universe speaks to you through your thoughts, and this card shows that the angels want you to notice and follow the ideas you have recently received. These thoughts are answers to your prayers for guidance, so please don't discount them as mere imagination. By drawing this card, the angels seek to give you confidence that you are just as capable of receiving wonderful ideas as any other person. That is because all wonderful ideas originate from the one divine mind of the universe itself. Since it is omnipresent, meaning everywhere, it is within you. So this omnipresent mind continuously expresses new thoughts and ideas right inside your mind. I think that's so cool. Final card we got is manifestation. Yeah, so you're really building this new life for yourself. You know, it's interesting. It's like there's two different meanings to this whole reading. I feel like you've already done a lot of this work I was talking about, but maybe these are just some of the final touches. Like I said, it's very swiftly moving into your life. So it's like all this stuff is really trying to come in right now. And in fact, it's like it's there ready for you. You've been manifesting this change for a long time. And so this is just the icing on the cake. You know, this is just what's your day-to-day habits that are going to help bring this into you easier and faster and more applicably, you know, in a way that really works for you, that's long lasting, that's consistent. It's all about that, you know, but I feel like you're manifesting in this whole new life for yourself. And like I said, it's like you've been working on it for a really long time. Let me read the card. Manifestation. You have manifested new opportunities and abundance. Know that you can experience these gifts right now. Your hoped for aspirations are on their way to you. They may arrive in a different fashion than you expected, but the rewards that you truly desire, such as feelings of peace, security, and happiness, are manifested exactly as you requested. Ask your angels to help you have faith in your ability to manifest. With this faith, you and the universe can do anything. This is the process by which all thoughts transform into tangible form. First, they begin as an idea, born of divine sources. Then the ideas meet with a feeling. If the feeling is loving and nurturing, the idea and the feeling create the embryo of the manifestation. You nourish your newborn ideas by believing in it and by following the step-by-step guidance that the universe and your guides and angels give to you through your freedom, feelings, dreams, and visions. Yeah, so pay attention to those dreams, pay attention to those aspirations and the visions that you're getting, because it's bringing this new life that you've been wanting into your life. It's coming to you through all of this. So anyway, pile number 1, that was my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of it either way. I really do love hearing from everyone. If you have any interest at all, I have a Patreon page that you can help support me and get some awesome bonus content, some readings that you can't get on here, giving you advice for what to expect for the month, and then also a meet and greet live reading so we can talk together as a group. And then also I'm creating my own hand-drawn or hand-printed tarot deck, and you can have access to pieces of that deck before anyone else. This is the full card that comes from that deck. I'm designing it and creating it. Eventually that'll be mass produced so that you can buy a copy, but for now it can only be found through that Patreon page. That can be found at patreon.com/JunoDrone. And then finally, I offer private readings. Please check out my website at www.junodrome.com for my reading quotes. I would absolutely love to give you a private reading if you want more ideas about how to move forward in life, or you want clarity on certain situations. I'm really good at giving you as much clarity as possible. So anyway, pile number 1, that was my reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. See ya. Hey there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading for what do you need to hear right now. So this is going to be information, stuff, things that you need to hear in this moment. We'll leave it as open as possible to whatever meanings need to come in. This is a general reading and a timeless reading. So whenever you see this and you're on it, it is meant for you in that moment. We've got this little snowflake or star that was made in Sweden. I don't know if it was by one of my relatives or not. I don't necessarily think so. I think it's just traditional Swedish folk art, but it's fun. Let us see what the cards say. We got a bunch of different decks to choose from here today, or that I've chosen from, to get as many messages for you as possible. The first 3 cards come from the Wild Unknown Tarot. Let us jump right in. We've got the 8 of Cups. Cool. We've got the Daughter of Cups. Ooh, lots of Cups energy. And we've got the 2 of Wands. All right, so you are at this sort of new beginning that you've been working on for a while, and it's coming from an ending, which most beginnings do. Beginnings and endings tend to reflect one another. You are putting your own happiness first, friend, and you are planning your life around it. A little similar to pile number 1 vibes, but not necessarily. I think it's going to be different, so I'll let you know even more as we keep going. But you're walking away from something. You've chosen to walk away from aspects and things in your life that are not working for you, that were not working. Stuff, situations, people, places. Maybe you moved, maybe you got a new job, maybe you left a friend group, you know, whatever that is for you. You've left certain things behind, and that's proving to be a really beautiful new beginning for you. You're in this new start now where you're prioritizing your own happiness. You know, you're in a new path towards self-fulfillment, and it's going to be really fruitful for you. You know, we've got the rainbow coming from this little swan duckling, swanling. What do you call a baby swan? Baby swan, swan chick, and so it's like, you know, you've got this new start coming, and you've been planning it out. You're ready to journey forth into life. The 2 of Wands is all about that. Like, a lot of times it's a man holding the globe and looking at it and planning his next steps, journeying off. You know, maybe actual travel is going to be coming into you for you sooner or later. I know we're still in the pandemic-y stuff when this is being recorded, but like I said, it's timeless. You could be much after all of that. Yeah, I just feel like you're letting go. You're letting go of the past, and you are not looking back. You are not looking behind you. You are leaving these broken cups behind and traveling forth into the future. And that's going to be really good for you. You know, it's like, yes, you're in your own power. You're following that. You're following your drives. You're following, you know, yourself. You know, maybe you're more connected to your inner light than you've ever been before, and that's starting to shine through for you, which is absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at some more cards. We've got 2 cards from the Universal Waite deck. We've got the 10 of Pentacles, and we've got the Empress. Wow, yeah, okay, so this new start that you're on, it's like you're kind of pregnant in a new creative venture. I feel that. I feel like maybe you've got this creative venture coming. This is more career for you. I'm feeling that. It doesn't have to be. It could be about a lot of things, but the Empress card, she's normally depicted as a pregnant woman. And so it's like I just feel like my intuition is telling me this is all about creative new start. Maybe it's a project, maybe it's following your inspirations, you know, a new business, a new something like that. And it's going to be very, very successful for you. So whatever this new venture that you're feeling for yourself, as you're beginning these plans, as you're leaving behind maybe an old career, like I was saying, or just an old spot or an old way of thinking, an old something, as you leave that behind and you start this new planning energy, you're at the beginnings of this with this Daughter of Cups. It's normally the Page of Cups in most of their decks. It's like you're at this beginning start of this, but whatever this is, whatever you're, you know, this creative pregnancy period that you're in, maybe it is actually a child, you know, maybe for some of you, but it's a general reading. But I don't think, for a lot of you, I feel like it's more like a project or something. Whatever that is that you're planning, it's going to be incredibly successful. Like with the 10 of Pentacles, this is the culmination of the Pentacle suit, and the Pentacles aren't always about money, but a lot of times they are. It's about material well-being, and this is like generational wealth too, because you see there's multi-generations here. You know, we've got the child, we've got the middle, and we've got the elder. So it's like this wealth or this stability or this stuff that you're building with this, you know, this creative pregnancy. Like you're at the beginning of this, but you've moved your whole self into this direction, and the more that you follow this direction, and I feel like that's where you're going, you're following this new direction, it's going to be very successful for you. So you're really being encouraged to keep on it, keep following this, keep looking out at the signs for how to keep moving with this new venture, because it's going to be very, very, very successful for you. We've got 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. We've got the 10 of Cups. Wow. We've got the Strength, and we've got the 2 of Cups. So like, the 2 of Cups talks about some partnerships. So it's potential that, you know, this isn't going to be just a on your own thing. This is like you connecting with other people, which, like I said, this could either be about this creative venture that I'm feeling, or for some of you, it's an actual pregnancy with a partner potentially. You know what I mean? Like creating a new family, because the 10 of Pentacles is all about this family. You see, there's this family together. And then we also have the 10 of Cups, which is ultimate emotional fulfillment, which is also about families as well. It's normally like a family together in this ultimate happiness. So I feel like this pile is getting 2 very different groups. There are some of you have started this new journey towards starting a family, starting this, maybe you have a new relationship in here that's going to be the ability for you to build this beautiful new family. I've got some throat chakra issues, so just make sure you're speaking your truth, just as an aside through all of this. Not everybody's going to be like that, though. Like I said, my first instinct was all about this other group of people, where it's all about you're building a new venture. You know, it's a new business, it's a creative project or a series of creative projects. It's just following your own inspirations. You know, maybe you're very artistic, and it's following that above all else is going to set you up in this position to build something that's bigger than you. And with that partnership, it's like, yeah, I feel like maybe even business partnerships or creative partnerships, you know, you're moving in the direction where that can happen. We've got 2 2s here, you know, 2 of Wands, 2 of Cups. We've got lots of Cups energy. So this is really about like your own emotional fulfillment. When the 8 of Cups comes in, the implication of that, it implies it's like that there were these 8 of Cups here that just weren't fulfilling you. And so you decided to leave behind some things, like leave behind what you know and cross off into the unknown to follow, you know, your inspiration in the hopes that you will find that 9 or 10 of Cups. And look at that. We've got the 10 of Cups here, which is this fulfillment, this culmination of fulfillment here. So it's like this decision that you made, and I feel like you've already made this decision. I feel like you're already in this new beginning. You're at the very beginning stages of whatever you moved away from. That decision to move away from this stuff was the best decision that you've made, you know, in your life almost. I feel that. It's like you've made the right choices here. And you've positioned yourself. Not that there's ever wrong choices. I want to be pretty clear about that. There's no wrong path in life. There's just the path, you know what I mean? And so it's like, even if you move in one direction, there's nothing saying that you can't just turn around and go back to that prior crossroads and move in a new direction again. Like, you always have that opportunity. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't change your mind. You absolutely can. You can change direction whenever you need to. I just feel like you are already in a new direction. You already made the moves, and those moves that you made are proving to be incredibly strong for you with the Force here, the Strength card. It's like these are you're following your own strengths. You know, you're not. It's like what's that quote? There's a phrase that's all about, you know, not doing things the hard way when you don't have to or something. You know, I just feel that that's kind of the energy that this is. It's like you decided to untie, like maybe you were moving through life with a hand tied behind your back for some reason, and you opened your mind up to the fact that you're like, why am I trying to do this the hard way? Like, why don't I just focus on what my strengths are, follow those strengths, you know, follow what I like, follow what I know, follow what I can feel is good for me, and that's going to bring me happiness and success. And by doing that, that's the truth. It's like following the path of least resistance. That's what I was looking to say. You have decided to follow in your life the path of least resistance. And by doing so, you're moving in a direction that's opening you up to the ability to be in your own success. And I feel like that's a loaded term. I feel like success is a deeply loaded term. But I just feel this sense of personal fulfillment is what you're moving towards. And not only are you going to get that inner fulfillment, but you're also going to get the external fulfillment too. You're going to be deeply stable. the most stable a human being can be in their lifetimes. And because I feel like it's intergenerational, it's like you're also creating stability for future generations of your family. You know, as you move forward through time, you're creating a stability that's going to not just help you, but help others, help the future. You know, it's like I just feel that energy of helping reality move forward for yourself, and that's a deeply, deeply beautiful thing. Next up we have okay, I'm gonna actually read this one first because it's our final tarot card. This comes from my own hand-drawn deck. I drew this deck myself, and it is the Three of Pentacles. Of course it is. So we're bringing you back now. We were imagining the far future, where you've got all of these incredibly inspiring creative projects coming to you, or like I said, family and a relationship. But I just feel like for most people it's not that. You've got this like deeply stability, you know, that's your far future. That's your trajectory. You can let go of that. Don't worry about that. Don't think about it like in the sense of, oh my God, I have to make this happen. No. You are just, what you're actually doing is trusting your inspired action in the present. Remember, the present moment is all that we have. The future does not exist yet. This is just giving you inklings and images of your trajectory. So see it, feel it, hold it in your mind's eye for the manifestation of it, and now let go of it. Let's come back to the present moment. Where are we right now? We're in the planning stages, which is totally fine. You don't have to have everything planned out. You just know your trajectory. You know the direction you're going. Have faith and confidence in yourself and build these strong foundations. That's what the Three of Pentacles is all about. It's about building a deeply, deeply strong foundation for which you can then build from. So all of this stuff that's going to blossom in your life moving forward, this new trajectory, because I feel like what you did is you changed your life trajectory and now you're in a new direction. So you're still kind of at the beginning stages of it, which is totally fine. We all have to start someplace, so don't be hard on yourself for being in the beginning, especially if, you know, you were in, a lot of times this Eight of Cups implies you moved a long way in a different direction for a while, you know what I mean? So it's like you kind of are starting new, but maybe you did a lot in the past of certain things. You tried a lot of things and things didn't work out, and, you know, that can be a little discouraging if you've already been through a bunch of things in your life to then be at the beginning again. But remember, you're never quite at the beginning again. You've gained lessons from your life in the past. It's just now you're setting yourself up this very strong, solid foundation. Whereas in the past, you may have been trying to build off of sand, you know, or building from a house of cards. Remember, those come tumbling down, right? Now you're building this super stable bedrock for yourself. As you move forward, you're building this strong foundational bedrock that you can then build your whole existence off of, which is really beautiful. That's a very beautiful thing. So yeah, you've got this very strong foundation now that's coming into your life, that's possible for you, that will allow you to build more for yourself in the future, that you'll be able to grow from. And, you know, I just got a horn outside. Whenever a horn happens for me, that to me is a confirmation from my guides and angels, or your guides and angels in this case, to say, yes, the strong foundation is where you are now, what you are building for yourself. Very beautiful. So now let's look at some oracle cards. The first is comes from the Fairytale Lenormand, and I just read these for the symbols. We've got the Lady, totally connected to that Empress card again. So it's the other thing about the Empress that is important to remember is that she is embodying the divine feminine. So as you move forward, as you build this empire for yourself, or however you want to think of it, you know, with these creative projects, you're opening yourself up to letting the universe bring things to you. What happens with the Empress is she sets her manifestations. She opens herself up to what she would like to have happen. So she's totally open to whatever happens coming in. And then she lets the things come to her. She doesn't force things to happen. She's not planning all 28 moves that are going to make it to this point, right? Like I was saying, she's totally in the present. She's just like, she's got her trajectory, and then she's letting the details be loose. She's letting the details be open. You don't know specifics, and that's okay. You don't need to know specifics. Don't feel the need and the pressure to know specifically what's supposed to happen, what you're supposed to do. Don't do that. Instead, be open to the flow of the universe. Be open to the flow of life. Allow things to unfold for you. You know the trajectory of where you're going. You know the idea of who you are and what you want, and just allow that to be your course as you're setting sail, right? You're not taking a vacation driving with Google Maps where you have every single point to your destination lined out. You are sailing across the ocean. So you know the destination, generally speaking. You've got an idea where you want to go, and you've got a compass, and you got a sail. And so, those winds are going to keep changing. The winds of life are constantly blowing in new directions. So it's up to you to set your course and set your sail by your compass, which is your internal light. How does this feel right? Does this feel wrong? Nope, that feels wrong. Okay, nope, I'm not going to do that. This feels right. Okay, I'm going to follow the things that keep feeling right. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different way of looking at things. It's a whole different way of traveling. But that's where your success is going to come from, is by being in that receptive mode, which is the divine feminine, as opposed to the divine masculine, which is all about going, doing. It's like allowing is what the feminine energy is all about. And so it's like you're allowing yourself to be in that mode. So that's the biggest piece of advice for you moving forward in this direction. Finally, we have 3 more cards from the Oracle decks that I'm going to read from the books. The first one comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and that is the Growth card. Yeah, you are growing. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Have so much faith in yourself right now, because life is moving in a really beautiful direction for you in this moment. But let me read from the book about this. This situation or time is one of rapid growth. The seeds that have been planted have germinated and taken root. Go with the flow of this growing time. You may find people and situations falling away from your life. There's that Eight of Cups there. Who do not serve. As now they do not serve who and what you are becoming. It may be that your vibration no longer resonates with theirs. It's okay. Wish them well. Be grateful for what they brought to you, and you to them, and then send them on their way. Room has now been made for new experiences, people, and situations to help you to your next level. If you are not feeling this shift right now, be prepared, because it will soon come to pass. No, you're in it. You're in the middle of it. It's beautiful. Yeah, that kind of just reiterates the whole beginning of that reading, which is cool. I love it when these Oracle cards, they just say exactly what what I've been saying this whole time. Is cool. It's nice to have that kind of confirmation. Manifestation. Wow, wait a second. Oh yeah, that's amazing. The last group got that card too, right? Let me see. Ideas, inspiration. Oh, that's from the last group. I was gonna say that's crazy, but you know what? I'm gonna give it to you anyway. Yeah, that card wanted to be in this reading. I was using it as a where the camera spot ends, but it ended up jumping into this reading, which is cool. It was in pile number 1 too. That's so funny. You have manifested new opportunities and abundance. This fits you better than it fit them, I feel like. So maybe that's how it just needed to come into this reading. That's so funny. Know that you can experience these gifts right now. You're hoped for... So you know what? I'm just feeling like there may be some things from pile number 1 that could help you. Totally different vibes. Pile number 1 is where you were. Like, I feel like you are in the totally other side of the hump that pile number 1 was in. It's like pile number 1 hasn't made the choice to move out of the things yet. You've already made that choice and you've moved into this. So it's like, if you want to take a look at kind of where you've come from and maybe get some good advice from there, I talk a lot about grounding and meditation. You may check out pile number 1 and get something from it. So that's just because this card has jumped into this reading too. I just feel like that's important for me to mention. You don't have to, but you may gain some insight from pile number 1. Ask your angels to help you and have faith with your ability to manifest. With this faith, you and the universe can do anything. This is the process by which all thoughts transform into tangible form. First, they begin as an idea, born of divine sources. Then the idea meets with a feeling. If the feeling is loving and nurturing, the idea and the feeling create the embryo of the manifestation. You nourish your newborn idea by believing in it and by following the step-by-step guidance that the universe and your angels and guides give to you through your feelings, dreams, and visions. Yeah, so it's all about that step-by-step motion, right? Remember, you don't have to have all the steps in your mind right now. And in fact, let go of needing to come up with all of the plans for this. It's calling for you to allow them to just come in. You know, all you need to know is the next step. And then all you got to do is do the next step. And then the next step will come in that comes after that, right? It's all about following that flow. Final card is the self-acceptance card, which is so beautiful. Let me read from the book about that. So yeah, definitely like being your own best friend here. Maybe you should watch pile number 1 because I talked about that too. But like really, you know, you got this. You know, you got this. Really accept everything that you are. You are perfect. You are a perfect child of the universe and God, and every part of you is wonderful. Your angels guide you to let go of negative self-judgments and to enjoy being you. You are too hard on yourself, your angels say to you through this card. Although you enjoy having high standards, it's important to view yourself through loving eyes. Berating yourself only makes your spirit sink. Self-improvement comes from a positive mindset. See yourself through your angel's eyes, and you will see someone who is perfect and holy, child of the universe. Although you have made mistakes in the past, there is nothing that you could have ever said, thought, or done that would ever change the love that's available to you. The angels see past your surface mistakes. They see the beating heart of the universe's love within you. They love you unconditionally, and they ask you to love yourself in the same way. So really being in a position and a place of self-love is what it's all about, you know, by being your own best friend in that way, by really being non-judgmental towards yourself and allowing yourself to grow and to change and to act in however you need to, you know, being really comfortable with you, totally and completely you allow yourself to open up into this, you know, where you're really being kind to yourself, you know, really, really be so kind to yourself and nurturing and loving to yourself. And that's going to help you through this movement towards your dreams, you know. It comes from you loving yourself enough to follow those dreams and to love yourself enough to know that you're capable of them, because you really, really are. So anyway, pile number 2, that was my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of it either way. I love hearing from everybody. A huge thanks to all of my new subscribers. We've gained a bunch from the last reading, and that's super exciting. If you haven't subscribed already, and it would do me a huge solid if you subscribed. It helps out the channel a ton, and we're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to have really awesome prizes. I'm going to give away 2 free readings, and then I'm also going to give away some cool bonus content. I think I'm going to give away a piece of obsidian that I collected in Oregon to some lucky viewer. And then I might give away something else too. So yeah, stay tuned for that. There is a lot of potential from that. So please subscribe. Please get your friends to subscribe. We're going to get to this 1,000. Right now we're in halfway through the 700, so we're getting closer and closer. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching pile number 2. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye. Hey there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading for what messages do you need to hear right now. So these are going to be messages from your spirit team, spirit guides, however you identify with it. They are important messages that need to find you in this moment. So whenever you find this video, it was meant for you. This is a timeless reading. It can be found at any moment in time and give you deep, important insights into your life and how things are flowing for you in the moment. So you chose the one with this cool little star here made out of straw from Sweden. Let's take a look at your reading. So first up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. We've got the, I don't read reversals in general readings just because I feel like it overly complicates things. We've got the Mother of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups in most decks. We've got the 2 of Pentacles, and we've got the Strength card. Wow, okay, cool. 2 of Pentacles is all about balance. So you are finding a balance, and look at that. We've got 2 infinity signs here too, which is cool. So definitely some deep infinity symbolism. Continuing things, cycles, moving in through cycles. You know, life can be this challenging balance sometimes. I'm starting to feel a little bit of that in this. It's a push and a pull. Life is a give and a take. And, you know, sometimes we can be really stuck in these cycles, right? Where, you know, you move in one direction and then something happens. And so then, you know, you get rid of everything and you fall back into this other place, you know, and then you're stuck in that other place and you're like, no, I need to be doing it this way. You know what I mean? I feel this kind of yin yang back and forth kind of a thing that's happened in your life potentially. But I feel like that's something that you maybe are starting to balance a little bit, you know, coming back into, instead of being in this sort of flip-floppy, situation-y, fish flopping everywhere, you know, you're calming down, you're coming back into center, and you're connecting that into your own self-love here. So we've got the butterfly symbolism, which is all about transformation, and transforming your whole being into something new. The butterfly started its life as a caterpillar and then went through this incredible transformation in the chrysalis stage and is now hatching into this beautiful butterfly. So I think that maybe, you know, in some of your patterns, you've been through it. You've been through a lot of rough stuff in your life, but you have connected to your own inner strength and your own inner light, with that sun coming in, this lion energy, which is all about courage and strength, you know, with a rose for this love symbolism. So it's like you've connected into your own sense of self-love now, which this mothering Mother of Cups is really showing you is like you're now ready to change into this really deeply loving and compassionate person. And in fact, maybe because you've been through some difficult things in your past, you're now able to give back to others and be this deeply nurturing, loving person. I get that sense from this, is like you're a deeply nurturing, loving, mothering kind of a person because you know what it's like to go through difficult situations. And in fact, that, you know, maybe you're being encouraged to be in a position of really giving. Maybe you are a mom, you know, or you're a parent, or you at least connect with that. And I feel like you're a deeply nurturing person, and this reading is coming in to let you know that nurturing energy is not only deeply needed in this world, but it's like that's your biggest strength. Your biggest strength is this loving compassion that you have, and you're really being encouraged to really fully embrace that compassionate energy, that your fulfillment in life is going to come from you deeply knowing your own nurturing self, sharing that first and foremost with you, you know, making sure that you're filling your own cup first, and then allowing yourself to share with others, you know, being open to sharing with other people, being this loving, nurturing, compassionate person with other people. And I feel like that's where your major strengths in life are. And this reading is coming in to let you know, it's almost like a pat on the back. Like maybe you've been through a lot in your life, but you're connecting into this sense of self-fulfillment through your own sense of inner compassion and light. Let's keep looking at the cards to get a better understanding of what the reading wants us to know. We've got the Chariot, which can talk about very swift moving action, which sometimes the Strength card can talk about too. I feel like there's a connection between these two cards. So with the Chariot coming in, we've got more balancing energy as well, because we've got both the white and the black Sphinx here. So it's that yin and yang, that balancing energy. Like you need both to move forward through life. So it's like, I feel like it's like this self-love energy is really what's going to heal you if you need healing, or what you've already been doing for your own personal healing. This reading is coming in to let you know that it's like every single part of you is valid. And that is going to help you moving forward. That's what you need to know right now. What you need to know is that every single part that exists within you is valid and is important. Like, it's so important for you to feel your emotions. It's so important for you to accept all parts of yourself, including and especially the parts of yourself that you feel are quote unquote bad. That's the whole key of shadow work. What shadow work is, we all have a shadow. What our shadow is it's the parts of ourselves that we shun. We say, oh, I shouldn't have this. This shouldn't be a part of me because, society says it's bad or whatever. Like, I shouldn't do that. This is a bad part of myself. So I'm going to deny myself this part of myself. I'm going to ignore it. But by doing so, you actually create a pattern potentially of where this shifting back and forth comes from, because by blocking yourself off from parts of yourself, you allow those parts to kind of like take control of your subconscious. And then maybe you start acting out and you start doing bad things, quote unquote, or things that you don't like. And then, then you end up in this this shame spiral situation where you're like, really talking down to yourself and you're like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing such and such. And so then you really hate on yourself because of that. But by doing that, you actually create the conditions to continue that behavior. And so, I kind of get that sense. What's going to help you get out of that pattern, which I think you were already working on here, is by accepting those parts of yourself that maybe you at the past couldn't accept, you know what I mean? Like, and redefining what those are. If you're, potentially, I'm feeling a little bit of, potentially addiction energy here. So especially if it's like, I don't know, for me, I had a problem with sexuality for a while, I'm a queer person, kind of a sexual person, like, and that was hard for me for a while because I was raised in a family where there was a lot of guilt around sex. And so like, yeah, I would like really hate on myself for being sexual sometimes. And then, I just like was creating these conditions to put myself into some emotionally unhealthy situations. But what really helped me move forward is to say, you know what, it's okay. It's like this is a healthy part of being alive as a human being. And I accept this part of myself, and so then I look for healthy outlets for that. I don't mean to be too TMI in here, but I just get, that's just the one situation. You know what I mean? That was my situation. So whatever it is for you, it's that kind of idea. You know what I mean? There are parts of yourself that maybe you aren't accepting fully, but you should, that maybe by working with yourself a little bit, especially if you have addictive tendencies, let's say, start looking at the why. Where is this coming from? Instead of just saying, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I hate every aspect of myself because this is my behavior. Instead of being mean to yourself for that way, start showing yourself an incredible amount of compassion. Okay, I love myself so much. What's going on? Like, where is this coming from? Because a lot of times addictions, especially, there's something else. Addictions come from trying to avoid the things about ourselves that we don't like. It's this avoidance energy, and by avoiding certain aspects of ourselves, we try to avoid them by looking at certain other aspects. You know what I mean? Pile number 1 might be helpful for you because I actually talk a lot about that in pile number 1. So potentially look at pile number 1. But I feel like you're moving out of that energy. And maybe that was the past that I was talking about, and you're in this new period where you are showing yourself this compassion. Remember that we all contain within us our inner child. How would you speak to a child? Would you use such harsh language on children that you use for yourself? Well, you are a child still in your heart. You have that inner child there. And so how would you speak to your own child? Like I said, with this nurturing, mothering energy that you have available to you, how would you speak to a child? Would you use such harsh language, such harsh judgment for certain actions? No. You would say, oh, kid, no. You know what I mean? Like, I love you. Let's try to look at this a different way. Like what's happening here that you feel you need to do this? Like, let me give you enough love and attention to show you that you don't have to keep following these to get my attention. You know what I mean? Instead of fighting yourself, you start working with yourself. You start listening to yourself. You start listening to your heart, listening to your emotions, listening to that inner child. And that opens you up to being back into a place of balance. And that's where you can come out of these swings, these deep emotional swings that I was feeling at the beginning, and come into a place of calm and into a place of centered in this present moment where you don't feel like you're swinging back and forth. Next up, we have 3 cards from the 1 JJ Swiss deck. We've got the Devil, of course we do. That totally fits for this whole reading. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, okay. And we've got the 4 of Wands. Interesting. So, yeah, the Devil card, it can talk about these addictions. I already talked about addictive cycles, which is just hearkening to that Devil card. But what's interesting about the Devil is that there's a very modern interpretation of this card too, which talks about liberation, which I actually really like. So the thing about liberating yourself from these situations is it's like, okay, I understand that I have been through certain situations in the past that might be addictive. I have these patterns and these habits that aren't the best for me. But what can these patterns show to me? What is this? This is actually a behavior that's going to help me liberate myself from these chains that have bonded me. It's not just being bonded, but it's learning how to see it and how to overcome it. And that by overcoming it, you actually build within yourself not only the ability to have deep strength and resilience, because like I said, you have this incredible strength and resilience, but you build within yourself the ability to then give that growth and learning and help to others, right? It's like you're not only healing yourself through this, but you are opening up the ability to heal other people, which is what I opened this whole reading with. I really feel that for you. It's like, as you learn how to overcome these certain things in your life, you're not only overcoming them for yourself, you're actually you're gaining knowledge and wisdom that can be shared with other people, and that sharing of this knowledge and wisdom to others will bring you deep satisfaction and fulfillment, and may even be a part of like what can help you bring this strength, and that's what's going to help you to like have abundance and success, because we have the 9 of Pentacles here, which talks about being in this stable, fulfilled period. And it's like she's normally depicted on her own, in her own private garden, basking in her own beauty and light. And so it's like you have the ability to be on your own about this kind of a thing. But it's not just you all alone. It's you, you decided to follow your own path and happiness, and that's what brings you success. And I feel that for you. But we also have the Homecoming card here, with this 4 of Wands. So it's like, by making this action, by taking the steps to overcome whatever chains you have bound yourself in with this Devil card, you're actually going to come back into a sense of home, which might be connecting to your inner child, connecting to your happy memories of childhood, the happy ones that you had, because as a child, even if we've gone through difficult, horrible things in childhood, which many of us have, the thing about it is there was also, this incredible, happy, magic that exists in childhood. So it's like connecting back into that magic is going to help liberate you from a lot of this, difficulty. And it's like we can take things a little too seriously in life. And I feel like the energy is really bringing you the ability to kind of break out of this sort of mode of being so chained and locked into this very serious mentality. And I do feel that inner child energy coming in to say, no, like, connect to your own silliness, don't take life so seriously, breathe in humor, and that's kind of where some of this strength is going to come from, is by not taking it so seriously, not, like I was saying, those patterns of like real strictness, don't be so strict on yourself, because then maybe you're rebelling against that and within you, you know what I mean? If you're in this swing, this is something I've experienced in my life, where I'm very austere with myself, and then I'm so austere that I can't take it anymore, that I try to break free from that, and then I do all this horrible stuff to myself, because I'm like, oh, I'll show me, what I mean? It's like, no, that doesn't help, so it's like learning to kind of take all that with a grain of salt and see the silliness of your own patterns, instead of just the chains that bind you to them. Just be like, you know, look at the ridiculousness of some of it, you know, and be open to laughing at yourself. Be open to being like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Like, how can I be a little bit easier, you know? Like, really kind of being open to that kind of a thing. Next up, the last 2 tarot cards come from my hand-drawn deck. I drew this deck myself. We've got the 4 of Swords, yeah, and we've got the Lovers card. So the Lovers card to me is really connecting back into that self-love energy. I feel like it's all about self-love for you. The more that you connect to your own sense of self-love, the more you're going to heal yourself. It's where your actual strengths come from. And then as you love yourself, you'll be able to then open your heart to others too. It's like a combination. You love yourself and you love others. You allow your love for your own self in your own heart to bubble out past you and connect into other people too. So you're not like just giving love to others and not giving it to yourself. You're loving yourself first and then allowing that love to bubble out after you. And then the final card is that 4 of Swords energy, which is about taking rest, you know? So don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself the rest that you need. If you need extra sleep sometimes, take it, you know? I've been sleeping in a little bit lately, and sometimes it's my own energy to judge myself for doing that sometimes, but it's like, no, I needed to sleep in, so that's okay. Like, I'm gonna sleep in if I need to sleep in because my body clearly needs it right now, you know? It's working with yourself when those kinds of things come up. Resting when you need it. Don't be so hard on yourself all the time with that 4 of Swords here too. It's like really be open to self-love and self-nurturing. Nurture that inner child energy because that's really going to help move you into a sense of peace. Next up, we have 1 card from the Fairytale Lenormand. It's the clover, a 4-leaf clover. That just is a little luck coming in for you. And look at this little leprechaun sleeping. So it's like your luck is going to come from rest. So, you know, I feel like maybe you've been through a really difficult period. You might be in a difficult period right now. So don't be so hard on yourself. Really take the time to rest and to calm yourself, to calm your spirit, to calm your mind, to be in a sense of well-being and well-calming, you know, and really, 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 really take the time to rest if you need it. You know, sleep. Look at that sleep. You know, maybe you'll find some answers to some questions that you've been having in your dreams, you know. Be open to doing that, you know, that sleep isn't just like sleep is beneficial physically, but it's also beneficial mentally. Dreaming is so important for us. It allows us to move through certain things. And, you know, we get symbols and signs in our dreams sometimes too. So be open to that if that's coming into you. Finally, we have 2 different oracle cards that I'm going to read from different decks for different books from these decks. The first comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and it's about integration, which is cool. So it's like really kind of that rest is going to be really important for you because I feel like there's some downloads that are trying to come into your life too. You know, you've got some new directions, new pathways that are trying to come in to give you a new direction and to help you move into this sense of balance. And there's probably some spiritual knowing that's trying to come in too. So I do feel like resting is incredibly important for you right now for that. So let's read that integration card. We are the sum of all of our experiences in this and other lives. We all bring forward a wealth of knowledge, talents, and wisdom. One of the challenges is remembering who we are. We are bombarded every day in every way with the messages on who we should be, what we should do, what we should wear, how we should live. These messages coming from the media, society, our family and friends, and even strangers can drown out who we really are meant to be, who we have grown into lifetime after lifetime. Find some quiet moments in your day to identify and start a relationship with that small, strong voice inside you. Yeah, so this is already talking about, like I was saying, you know, don't be judging yourself based on societal expectations and then be really hard and harsh on yourself because you're not meeting those. You know, try to find out who you are for you. I was talking all about that in that shadow work stuff. Find some quiet moments in your day to identify and start a relationship with that small, strong voice inside of you, with that strength there. Pretty soon, you won't hear the other messages. Many times in your interactions with others, you hear that small voice that tells you something is not right. Your logical mind tells you to stop it. Nothing is wrong. Stop being silly, dramatic, or overreacting. You may ignore your inner voice in a quest to fit in, to be loved or admired. You do not realize that your inner voice is warning you that the other person's energy is not matching their words or actions. Listen to your instincts about this situation or person. Yeah, so anyway, that was that one. Final card comes from the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck, and it's the intention. Oh, for a second I thought it said integration. I was gonna be like, whoa. But still, intention, integration, they're very similar. They start with the same I-N-T-E. Yeah. Int. I wonder what that suffix means. Int, coming in, coming together, intention, integration. Yeah, I don't know. Let's read it from the book. Your intentions create your experiences. What do you intend to happen? Make sure that your thoughts and feelings reflect your true intentions. By drawing this card, the angels ask you to take an inventory of your expectations. What do you expect to happen today, tomorrow, or in the future? These expectations are seeds of your intentions. An intention means that you have set a goal and intend to achieve it. Your intentions drive your experiences. The angels ask you to choose and infuse your intentions with love. See yourself and others as happy, successful, and peaceful. By holding these spiritually minded intentions, you help yourself and others. The angels can help you replace negative mental habits with more empowering thoughts if you ask for their assistance. Yeah, so definitely try to create a relationship with any spirit guides or spirit teams and angels. When I open these readings, I ask for the spirit teams and angels of those who watch these videos to come in and help give information. So I feel like that's what they're coming in to let you know too, that like you can ask them for help. Be really open to asking the universe for help. If you want to just put it out, it's that. You know, we all have a spirit team. We all have guides and angels and beings who are agreed to help us through life before we enter into this lifetime. And in fact, you may have been one of those for different people in, you know, the period in between lives. If you believe in that, that's how I perceive the reality for myself. But I find it really helpful to feel that way. So just know that there's help for you out there if you just ask for it. So be open to that coming in. But you need to ask for it. Like they're never, and that's kind of a good marker for beings and entities who are there to help you versus beings and entities who are not, is those who want to help you through life. They're never going to force themselves on you. They'll only come into your lives if you ask for that help. So be open to it, and physically ask, you know, like even if it's writing it down or just speaking out loud, like I ask for my angels and guides to come into my life and help me through X, Y, and Z. And you can be very specific, you know, help me figure out why I feel so horrible, you know, or something like that. Ask them, they're there, they'll help you. And then be open to the signs that come in when you do that. Anyway, pile number 3, that was my reading for you. I'm going to leave it there. If you like this reading, please give it a like and let me know in the comments what you think. I really do love hearing from everybody. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. It really, really helps me. I'm going to be doing a giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we're in the mid 700s. When we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away 2 free readings as well as a free piece of obsidian to a lucky viewer. And then maybe something else too. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, there's that. If you would like to help me out more, I have a Patreon page where you can get really awesome readings that you cannot get on here. I do a beginning of the month reading to try to figure out what are the energies for the month moving forward. I do a mid-month recap to try to see like, okay, well, where are we really? What else is coming in? And then I do a live meet and greet reading where you can speak to me directly. And we can chat and have a good time together. And then I also give away a free tarot card from my own tarot deck every month. I am designing my own hand-printed deck that I will eventually have for sale, but as I'm building it, the only way that you can get it right now is from the Patreon page. This is the Fool card from that deck that I made myself. So anyway, pile number 3, that was my reading for you. Oh, and then finally, if you would like a private reading with me, I have them available on my website at www.junodrum.com. Feel free to check that out and see my options. Anyway, pile number 3, that's it from me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. See ya! Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading for what do you need to hear right now. These are super general messages about whatever is super important for you to hear in this moment. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you find this reading and click on it, it was meant for you in that time. There's no time limit for this. It can be any time in the future. Whenever you have this popping up on your feed or you're browsing my channel or whatever, this reading is for you in this moment. So you chose the reading with this cool little star here made from straw from Sweden. So let's take a look at your reading. I got multiple different decks here with different messages, so we'll hop right in with the 3 tarot cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. First up, we've got the Son of Pentacles. I don't read reversals because I just try to keep them as general as possible for these general readings. I feel like it overly complicates things. We've got the Son of Swords, and we've got the 10 of Cups. Wow, okay, so 2 pages. No, sorry, knights. Oh, these are knights, right. So the suns in this deck are the knights, and you've got 2 different knights. Knights to me are always about the movement that's happening in the reading. It's like, what is the movement that's happening in your life, whatever phase that you're in your life right now, where is the action occurring? And it's coming in 2 different places here. So it's not only are you in a dynamic period with your mind and your mental body with the swords energy, we've got movement in the mind. So maybe you're changing perspectives, you're moving into a new way of perceiving the world, or you've been very thought heavy lately. You've been thinking a lot. You've been doing a lot of pensive thinking. But we also have the Son of Pentacles, which is very physical, the physical world, movement in the world around us, the material aspects. So it's like maybe you've been literally moving. Maybe you're in the process of figuring out a new place to live as you're watching this, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you've got movement in the physicality, a new job, new physical stuff. And then we've got the culmination card of the Cup suit, which is all about the emotions, the emotional body. So you're in this period of your life where you've got these dynamic changes going on. You've got dynamic movement, a lot of action. There's action happening in your physical world, and there's action happening in your own mind. And that action is all leading up to you following your own happiness, being in ultimate fulfillment. So it's like, maybe you're making a lot of changes in your life right now because you're realizing that your own personal fulfillment is penultimately important. Like you're going to follow your own happiness here, and you've decided whatever changes I got to make, if I need to think about things from a new perspective, I'm open to the new perspective that wants to come in. If I need to physically change locations, physicality, jobs, whatever, I'm open to whatever that changes. So it's like you're opening yourself up to whatever dynamic movement in life needs to occur to find this fulfillment. We've got 2 cards from the Universal Waite deck. We've got the Knight of Wands. Wow, so much movement. And we've got the Devil. Okay, interesting. I want to see the rest of these cards too. We got 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. We got the Justice. Okay. We got the King of Swords. Interesting. And we've got the 6 of Cups. Okay. And then we've got 2 cards from my hand-drawn deck. We've got the King of Wands. Wow. And we've got the Strength card. Okay, interesting. So this reading is really interesting. You've got 3 knights. So you've also got the Knights of Wands as well. So it's like, I feel like this is a period of a lot of change for you. There's a lot of change happening. And so, I encourage you to do some grounding work, definitely, just because there's like so much up in the air, it feels like right now. So maybe, you feel really, there's just this whirlwind. There's a big whirlwind in this whole reading because there's so much action. There's just this like dynamic change. So whatever's happening in your life right now, it's like you set off on this course of events that is, it's like this explosion, and now all of these dominoes are falling, and there's all this change going on. There's a lot of dynamic stuff. So how can we ground us back into the present moment? Wow. So strength, coming up first here. You're a very strong individual. So it's important to remember that whatever's happening in life for you right now, in general, you have the capacity and the ability to get through any challenge. So if you're in a challenging situation right now, it's important to remember that you always have your own personal strength to fall back on. And in fact, that strength is going to do you wonders through life. You have that ability to use it to your advantage. So really be open to the strength of you, because it's there for you. You have two different kings. The kings are the highest of the royal cards, so they talk about like being in this very like culminated period where you know, these are your deepest strengths. You've got this to fall back on. You've got these skills to fall back on. You're deeply skilled in your own creative processes with the Knight of Wands here. You're a deeply creative person, I think, and you're a very inspired person, and you're not afraid to follow your inspirations and your drives moving forward with life. So you have that as a huge strength. And you also are, with the mental body and the mental mind, the mental sphere, you're very much able to be this calm of the mind kind of a person. Your mind is very much collected. Your mind, you know how to think in a way that's going to help you. You don't allow your emotions to get the best of you. You are able to see through them, and to, you feel your emotions. The King of Swords always feels his emotions, but he doesn't let them control his actions. He's very much able to think about things from a very calm perspective, and then use that calm to move himself forward. So I feel like those are what you're being encouraged to fall back on. As if things are in a crazy change, I feel like there's just a lot of change happening in your life right now, and it's coming from this desire to liberate yourself with the Devil card here, to really disconnect from the chains that have bound you. I feel like maybe you have felt trapped in life for a while, or you've been through a situation that has felt very unjustified with this Justice here. Maybe you've been through some hardships, you've been through some difficult things, you felt really stuck, or stagnant, or like maybe you felt like you were in a position where people were really not or hurting you or something. I just feel this energy of like, I'm not going to take it anymore. You know what I mean? Like you're throwing up your hands and bursting forward through life and just getting rid of everything that doesn't work, and just, I'm not fucking taking it anymore. Pardon my French, but I just feel that, you know what I mean? And look at, both of these two knights are in this very like, and then you see the horse here too. They're all charging, you got this charging defensive motions going on with this energy. I just feel that it's like this overwhelming, like somebody's throwing up the Monopoly board at the end of the game after they've been like really pissed off about how it's been not working out for them. You know what I mean? So I do encourage you to take a step back. Slow down. And I don't mean that. I don't mean to be mean. I just feel a sense of you need to slow down right now. It's okay to leave things that aren't working for you. Absolutely. And in fact, to be in that kind of stuck energy and just feeling like you need to break free from it, totally get it. I'm not telling you not to do that. And in fact, with this Justice card here, it's like there's always a time for needing to rebalance things, rebalance your life, but you're really being encouraged to tap into your own inner King of Wands and King of Swords, especially the King of Swords here. Like, don't let your emotions get the best of you here. And in fact, remember, I almost feel this emotional outburst here, but you didn't get movement in that emotional body, right? You got it in the Wands, the Swords, and the Pentacles, but we did not get a Knight of Cups. So that is saying that there is a potential as you move through this to keep yourself really emotionally balanced. And I think that that's why we got that 10 of Cups here too, is it's like really encouraging you to, if you need to change your whole life around, that's fine. Do it. But make sure that you're emotionally stable through this. Make sure that you keep an emotional balance involved, because as soon as you tip that into the emotional sphere as well, that's where you're going to get some problems coming in. Because yes, break free from the chains that are binding you. Absolutely. Do you need to change your whole life around? You feel the need to do that? Then definitely do that. If you're changing every aspect of yourself, that's great. But the thing that needs to stay stable through this change is you need to have a huge compass of your own emotions, right? You need to keep your emotions calm. Be like the King of Swords here, where he does not let his emotions dictate his actions. He feels his emotions. Always, always, always allow yourself to feel your emotions, but feel them in a vacuum. Remove yourself from a situation first. Find a happy room, you know what I mean? Where you're going to be alone, and if you're just like super angry, you feel all that anger. I just feel a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger here. Wow, this is super intense. Feel it. You need to feel that. You need to allow yourself to feel it, but don't burn down every bridge that exists in your life here. Like, I'm feeling there's a huge warning to not do that. Don't burn down every bridge that exists here. And if this reading hasn't resonated for you yet, then I would choose a different reading. But those of you who are with me, this is the message that needs to come out for some people. So just be with me if you're with me. Don't allow that. With the Justice card here too, something that's really important that's coming into my mind here is, remember that the universe exists in a system of karma. I believe in karma. I've known it to exist and be a part of life and reality for me. The universe, like, if somebody does something really shitty or something really horrible, they will get their comeuppance, right? Like, if somebody acts in a certain way, you know, and there's good karma, there's bad karma. It's all about judgment. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is a horrible, shitty person and does some really, really, really awful things, they're gonna get what's coming to them eventually. You don't need to worry about that. Don't feel like you need to be the one delivering the universe's karma, right? Because that's not how this works. All that you do by doing that is you screw up your own karma, right? Like you end up putting that on yourself, and then you're going to have really horrible things continue to happen to you, right? So make sure that you're not acting in a way that's going to and I got a horn outside. Horns are always a confirmation for me from my guides and angels that what I'm saying is important. So do not, as you move through this, try to act in a way where you're not screwing up your karma, right? Like, don't F with your own self through this. Don't hurt people. Be really, really, really cognizant of what your actions are, because you have choice, right? We always have choice. So it's really important to remember as you move through all of this, that you have the choice on how to act, and that you always have choice in the matter. You can choose to do X or you can choose to do Y. You don't have to do X. You know what I mean? Even no matter what circumstances are going where you feel like it's your only option, really, really, really take a step back and collect your thoughts in this process, because, like, you know, just like, you don't want to act too rashly, because you can screw up a lot in a very short amount of time. So just be really careful for that, you know? Like, if something is really horrible has happened to you, like, I really feel for you, you know what I mean? Like, I've had really horrible things happen to myself too, and like, it's not fun. But just don't take that energy that somebody else has done and then perpetuate this cycle of violence. You know, don't perpetuate any cycles of violence, especially on yourself. You know, and don't screw up your life because somebody was being an asshole. That's theirs. That's on them. That's not you. You weren't being the asshole. So you don't need to perpetuate that. You know, there's an incredible amount of defensive action that's involved in this reading. It's interesting. I've never had a reading like this. So just, you know, stay calm through this. You know, come back into your King of Swords and your King of Wands as you move forward through whatever's going on. And really, find your own happiness here. Remember your own happiness. Remember that fighting, sometimes, you know, defend yourself. I'm not telling you not to, but, like, sometimes it's not worth it to your own happiness to then go on and perpetuate something that's crap, you know, that does not need to be perpetuated. And then we've got the Six of Cups here, which talks about happy memories from the past. So it's like, I feel like that's kind of coming in with a little words of wisdom for you. Like, take a step back right now. Just really take a step back and start to come into a sense of calm, an inner calm, inner peace. If you need to have some happy thoughts, find some happy memories from your past where things worked out. Think about challenging situations that you've been in the past that you've made it past, right? Because we've all survived 100% of everything that's ever happened to us, right? So where are some challenging events that have happened in your past where things worked out really well? Let that be your guiding force moving forward. How did you act to make the situation better in the past? How can you take that knowledge and wisdom and apply it to this current situation that you're in? Wow, this is an interesting reading. I've never had a reading like this before. Let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you. I'd be really interested to hear from you. So we're going to finish up with some oracle cards here, and then I think maybe I'm going to try to give you some more messages, or maybe we'll leave it. I don't know. We'll see. We've got the Tower card. Oh God, of course we do. Yeah, you are in a huge Tower moment. Wow. Okay, so disclosure, the Tower can be a really challenging situation to be in. It's not always horrible. In fact, the Tower is a very liberating card, like we have the liberation with the Devil. The thing about the Tower is it's like there are probably some life situations and patterns and things that have happened in your past where the universe was trying to get you to see something and move in a new direction, and you, for whatever reason, didn't, which is fine. I mean, that happens in life. A lot of times we exist in a way where we can't hear those situations, we can't hear the signs, or we just ignore them for whatever reason. But there was a really, really important changes that needed to happen in your life, and you just kind of put on a blindfold and kept going in the direction that wasn't good for you. And so because of that, the universe is giving you this situation where it's like, nope, okay, you didn't listen, you didn't make the changes. Okay, well, these changes need to happen for you because they just have to happen. So now the universe is giving you this crazy whirlwind of a situation that's breaking everything down so that you can start new. You're in the breaking down phase though, which when you're in the middle of it, it can feel like the Tower is like this, and then something crazy happened and everything went blah, you know what I mean? Like that's what the Tower is all about. So it's like, it's the lightning struck tower where everything starts crumbling down, but it crumbles so that we can rebuild a better foundation for ourselves and we can be in a better position. So, remember that you'll get through whatever this is and you'll be in a position to rebuild even stronger than before, definitely. But you might be in something crazy right now. And if you are, just I want you to know it's going to be okay. That by allowing yourself to break down to your foundations, you'll start to see, and that's more about the Six of Cups card here, you'll start to see the parts of you that exist underneath it all. Right? When all of this is who are you when everything else on the surface is blown away, right? And then it's going to connect you into the deeper parts of yourself that you just didn't even know you had access to. It connects you into these parts of yourself that you just didn't even know were there. And it's your own strength and resilience is going to come from that. So it's going to put you in a position to really be within your own strength and power. And that's really going to help you through this. But just, yeah. Ooh, I feel you. The Tower is really hard. So it's a challenging period to be in because everything just feels so unstable and it just feels like everything's crumbling and you don't know what the heck is going on. And yeah, it's kind of a nightmare scenario sometimes. But just remember that it's the night before the dawn. It's the darkest time right before the sun rises, because the very next card in the tarot is the Star, which is this bright, beautiful, shining wonderfulness. So it's like, just remember that you just have to make it through this period. This is the worst of it. This period that you're in right now is the worst of it. And when you can make it through to the other side, you'll have a dawning of a new day that's going to be even better than anything you've ever experienced before in this lifetime. So just have faith that it's going to work out, that something's going to work out, you know, and move yourself with whatever needs to happen. Face whatever needs to be faced. You know, if something comes up that needs to be taken care of, do it. You know what I mean? And like I was saying before with that Justice card, don't worry about what other people, you know, if you're in a situation where somebody's coming at you, you know, defend yourself. Yeah, keep yourself safe. Definitely keep yourself safe. But then remember that, like, you don't have to attack that person back. You know what I mean? You don't have to play by their rules. If they're being really horrible, you know, let them be horrible and just find your way out of it. You know, you don't meet them with their own energy back, because that can be harmful to you. You know, you don't want to hurt yourself through this. You want to come out unscathed, and you want to come out healed and healthy and growing even more fuller on the other side. You don't want to come out of this, you know, hurt and in worse situation than you were in before. So just remember that. And there will be a pathway through the darkness. So just follow that path, whatever that is for you. You know, try to look for the signs from the universe on how to come out of this, because they're going to be there. Remember that, like I said, it's like the universe sometimes needs to knock us down off of our high horse, because it wasn't the right direction. Things weren't working out the right way. It was going to be, you know, sometimes these things are actually protection from our guides and angels, because we were going down a path that was going to be way worse for us, that could have led to catastrophic horribleness. And so this tower crashing down is actually for your own protection, to bring you back in line with yourself, so that you can actually find your own happiness, right? With that 10 of Cups here, it's like this challenging, difficult situation might be occurring so that you can connect to that ultimate happiness. Like, you were going down a pathway that was going to lead you not towards that. It was going to leave you towards strife. It was the pathway that was leading you towards this Devil card. And so maybe you're being totally moved into this other direction, because that's going to be the direction that's going to help you find that happiness. And so at the moment, it might be totally catastrophically insane what's going on right now, but just remember that there is a rhyme and a reason coming from it, and it's only going to come from distance. But once you are far distant from this situation, it'll start to make more sense to you. Next up, we have a couple cards from the Shamanic Healing Oracle that I'm going to read from the book from. The first one is the Creativity card. Interesting. So, yeah, for whatever's going on. Is it still going? Yeah, okay. I'm going to keep this going. Sorry, my camera fell. Creativity. This is a very creative period for you, at the very least, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, maybe there's like some really amazing creative energy that can come from this, you know, like, because we got all those wands energies there. So it's like, turn this into a poem, you know, I mean, turn this into a book, you know, make this into your novel, channel this into paintings. You know, I felt a lot of anger and rage. Channel that rage into creativity. Like, use that energy to channel into something that's positive, that'll help you, you know, really channel that existential difficulty into something, channel it into something, because that's going to be really helpful for you. This is a profoundly creative time period for you, whether it is the traditional arts, music, or writing, or it could be a new curiosity about exploring a way to funnel your creative urges. To be creative, you need to access your right brain, your emotional, sensing, feeling center. Do this by trying things that you've never done before. Get physical, dance, doodle. When we acknowledge and act upon our impulse to create, we are aligning our will with the Creator. In this, we can experience the flow of being on your highest path. Start creating and notice how time has no meaning anymore. Hours fly by before you realize it. It is not a struggle, it is pure inspiration. This card can also signify the birth of a child or a whole new way of being. Definitely a whole new way of being is coming in for you. So use whatever's going on and channel it into this inspiration, because remember, you've got movement towards your inspirations, and I didn't even really talk about him, but he's coming back in with this creative card. The King of Wands is this master of creation and inspiration. So the King of Swords is coming in to let you know that to be very calm in your intellect as this is going on. And then the King of Wands is saying, and funnel this craziness that might be happening in your life towards a creative enterprise. Like, that's going to help you get through it. And that's going to help you feel fulfilled from this too, and connect you back into that emotional fulfillment that's coming in for you. Next up, we have a card from another one from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and it's the masculine energy. Interesting. So let's read that. Masculine energy, huh? The sun, powerful, a life force without which nothing on earth could survive. The masculine energy is one of action, doing, creating. Yeah, there's a ton of action here, so that makes sense that you're in a very masculine position. And I felt that too with that like urging to go forth, charging. It's a lot of charging energy. When we find ourselves embodying this energy, we get things done. We are thinking, logical beings. If we reside here too staunchly, we do not have any room for the opposite energy to come in. Being able to effortlessly flow from one to another, masculine to feminine, is the pinnacle of being in the flow energetically. Sometimes, in love relationships, the energy turns topsy-turvy and we end up residing in an energy that does not meet our highest needs. This is hard to break out of due to fear, the fear of if I don't do it, it won't get done. Realizing that two people make up a relationship, and in an evolving one, the relationship itself develops its own energetic balance, a perfect combination of yin and yang, masculine and feminine. If there is a void in one area, an imbalance will develop, and it is natural, and is the nature of things, unconsciously we will try to balance it out. Being aware is the perfect first step. Alternatively, this card signifies a very important man in your life. Nah, I just feel like it's a lot of action. There's a lot of action, a lot of change, a lot of movement that's happening in your life right now. So definitely take the time, especially with that creativity card, to be more receptive to. Take some time out, like I was saying, to ground yourself. Maybe do some meditation. I have a grounding meditation on my site, on my channel. You might want to look at that. That might help you. I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like there's just this dynamic, crazy change that's going on, which is very intense feeling, intense emotions, intense energy. Final card is Focus from the Healing with the Angels Oracle card. So let me read that. Think about what you want, not what you don't want. Guard your thoughts carefully because they create your experiences. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel a little bit of that. Definitely change your perspective with this Knight of Wands here and the Knight of Swords and King of Swords. Think about the things that you want to have happen in your life. Don't get lost in the things you don't want to have happen, because sometimes that's how we bring into our lives the craziness that maybe is in your life right now. Sometimes it seems that our thoughts choose us, but this is never the case. We always choose our thoughts every moment, right? I was talking about choices before, remember, where I felt like, oh my gosh, I have to go on X, but actually you could choose Y if you wanted. You know what I mean? This is talking about that. That's interesting. We always choose our thoughts every moment. Our thoughts always have an effect, and there is no neutral thoughts. 1/2 second before you hold a thought, you decide to hold it. So with practice, you can learn to monitor and alter your thoughts. This is the equivalent of putting your hand on the steering wheel of your life. And remember, don't be too hard on yourself if you think some thoughts that aren't so great, you know what I mean? You have the power to then think some thoughts that are better to counteract those. So just remember you have that. It's more about being cognizant of your thoughts. That's a system called mindfulness. Being mindful of your thoughts is what helps you. It's the act of watching your thoughts, of understanding them. So then when the quote-unquote negative thoughts come in, you have the ability to change them and move them into something else. So don't be too hard on yourself for having those negative thoughts. It's natural, especially if you're in the habit of having them. So with practice, you can learn to monitor and alter your thoughts. This is the equivalent of putting your hands on the steering wheel of your life. You may believe that your concentration abilities are impaired, yet the infallible mind of the universe is within your own mind. You can experience remarkable feats of concentration by affirming, I am now able to focus my mind at will. I hold only loving thoughts, and my angels act as my gatekeepers and establishing a steady stream of those thoughts of love. Yeah, so definitely remember, like I said, it's okay if sometimes you don't have those thoughts, and don't try to repress any feelings and emotions that you need to feel. Always feel your feelings. Do not repress them. But you have the ability to steer the thoughts that fall into your head, and you can move them into something else. So, wow. Anyway, pile number 4, I'm going to leave it there. That was a really powerful reading. I hope that you're doing okay. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that either way. remember that there are always resources and help out there. I do private readings. Feel free to get one with me. They're on my website at www.junodrome.com. Other people do them too, so there's some really powerful readers out there who can help you through situations. And then also, there's also counseling. I know sometimes it can get a bad rap, but I've been through to therapy many different times in my life, and it has been incredibly, incredibly helpful every time I've been. So just remember that therapy is always an option. There are people out there, if you're deeply spiritual, or you're a bit woo-woo, or you have feelings and thoughts and opinions that you feel aren't quite the mainstream, and you're a little afraid of sharing those with people. Remember that there are plenty of therapists out there who feel similar thoughts. There are many, many, many spiritual therapists out there. So don't worry about that. The right one is out there if you need one. So just remember that there's always somebody to talk to out there. So if you feel you need to, please, please, I encourage you to do that. It's incredibly helpful. Anyway, that was it for you. If you like this reading, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from everybody. If you are new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. I'm incredibly excited that when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of 2 free readings and a piece of obsidian that I collected in Oregon, and then potentially even more prizes as well. So please subscribe. We're in the mid 700s as I record this, but it's going up quickly. Deep thanks to all my new subscribers. If you want to help support the channel even more, and you want to get some awesome readings that you cannot find here, I have a Patreon page. That's at patreon.com/junodrome. There's a lot of really awesome perks there that are deeply helpful for you, and it helps me a lot to have you subscribe. So check that out. And then, like I said before, I have private readings available on my website. Check that out at www.junodrome.com. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and hang in there. I'll catch you later.